right, Senator Walsh, take it away. I know how hard you've worked on this bill.
Yeah.
Done that before, right?
So thank you, everybody, coming to Carousel Park, home of the 21st Rep District and the 9th Senate District. I actually live right down the road here. So this is a great venue the county provides for us. I know I'd like to thank everybody for coming. County Executive Matt Meyer. I see Councilman Tim Sheldon here, Senator Trey Pardee, Representative Mike Ramone, Representative Earl Jakes, Representative Kim Williams, and Senator Stephanie Hansen. We worked together on this bill, myself and Senator Hansen. Representative Jakes primed it in the House. I'd also like to thank all of you that are here today, that behind the scenes, big hand for all of the animal shelters. Yes. So we have today Brandywine Valley SPCA is here represented. They worked hard on this behind the scenes, helping get this done. The Delaware SPCA is here today. Yes. Faithful Friends is here today. And Delaware Humane Association is here today also. I think I've covered them all. If I didn't, shout out to
You have a lot of dogs to introduce here, I think. You know, Teddy especially.
Yeah, Teddy's here today. Did I mention Senator Pardee here today? Yes.
And up for adoption.
And plenty of pets up for adoption. And last but not least, my dog Maisie is
Maisie.
over here.
Office of Animal Welfare.
And the Office of Animal Welfare. That's right. There are a lot of officers here today, so I forgot. Yes. Yes. I knew I'd forget somebody. So a little bit about the bill. We worked a long time on this. We actually ran separate bills originally about 2 years ago. We combined it into one bill, which provides provisions for weather temperature restrictions on dogs, where you can't leave a dog outside unsupervised for more than 15 minutes during a national weather situation, both hot and cold. It's something we didn't have here in the state of Delaware. We do now, and it allows our Office of Animal Welfare to more easily police that with the 15 minutes. So that was one thing. We had also an enhanced sheltering portion of the bill, which provides if you leave a dog outside, you have to do the right thing and provide the proper shelter for our four-legged friends outside. Also, we had one of the biggest things also to the bill was the tethering issue. Where now, it was 18 hours in the past. Now you can only tether a dog outside for 9 hours. We got that down, reduced to 9 hours, which is something that we worked with the Office of Animal Welfare on, due to the fact 18 hours, you could not enforce that, right? So now we got it down to 9, working with them. We feel we can enforce that restriction to not allow a dog to be unsupervised tethered outside for 9 hours. And then you can also not tether a dog for more than 2 hours when they're not at home. So that's pretty much the gist of the bill. It's a long time coming. I just have 3 words: we did it. Right, we did it. So yeah. And I also see Cheryl Crow here today. She was a big advocate behind the scenes in Sussex County. I don't want to leave anybody out. So with that said, I will turn over to the House Prime, Representative Earl Jakes.
Thank you. It's been an honor to work on this bill with Senator Walsh and all my colleagues. When I drove in my neighborhood and I drive by and I see dogs chained out there in the rain and in the snow, it breaks my heart. And I'm glad that we got to this bill so that won't happen again. It really will not. My wife and I put our dog down about 6 months ago, and there isn't a day that doesn't go by that we don't think of him, miss him in every way, because our pets are part of our family, and we think about them, and we should treat them just like we would any member of our family. And that's why I'm so excited about getting this bill signed here today. I do want to take a minute to thank Deb Hamilton and Lisa Goodman, who were there with me all along and assisted me. I kid Senator Walsh all the time that I did all the hard work because I had all the amendments. You know what I mean? So to get this bill passed because we wanted to make sure we didn't leave anybody out. We take care of farm animals and all those that work in these different areas, and to make sure that it was a good, solid bill that we can enforce.
Absolutely.
And so I'm excited about getting that done. And I would like to go off the reservation if I can, Governor, for a second. I want to shout out to Jordan Siemens, who started with me in the House many years ago,
And me.
who's moved on and then come with the governor, has been in the governor's office, been a very big piece of getting legislation done for us, and he's moving on, so we want to have a few more days of him.
Yay.
Don't celebrate, Governor. But I want to say good luck to you, Jordan. And
Yay.
Good job, Jordan.
You coming back on the reservation now? You good?
yeah, I'm back on the
Back on
reservation.
board.
At least into the park here.
Yeah, at least into the park.
Jordan's heart's always with the 19th, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, thank you, Governor. Wow, this is, it's been great working with Senator Walsh, and I thank you for your leadership and my colleagues. These guys don't have a voice, we're their voice, and it is so warming to see all of us come together, all the different animal welfare organizations come together and try to make a difference for our four-legged friends. So I thank you, and I hope there's more to come.
Very good.
Short and
Senator
sweet.
Hanson.
Thank you. This has been such a long time. It really began back when Senator Walsh and I were getting calls a couple of winters ago, where we had some instances of animals being left outside and then being very injured as a result. And so I know that I had our officer Mark Tobin on speed dial and used it all the time as to what can we do in these situations. So we began working on Senator Walsh. They were actually two separate bills at first. I did the outdoor sheltering portion. He had the tethering portion. We were able to get it through the Senate. It was very scrappy in the Senate, but we were able to make it through
That's
the
a new
Senate.
term.
Yes.
Scrappy.
Scrappy.
like
We
it.
were not able to get it through the House at that point, so we
Too scrappy.
We took a step back.
Scrappier.
Yes, we took a step back. Really paired with our Office of Animal Welfare and Brandywine Valley and so many other the advocates to work consistently for a long time after that to build support in the House and get this to the place where we could actually get it passed, which is what you see. So it passed in the House, came back over to the Senate to get passed as it was amended, and we finally have it. Wouldn't it be great if we could just legislate compassion, though? Wouldn't that be really great if we could just legislate kindness and compassion so that we wouldn't have to do this? But we can't. So we have to come at it from a different direction, which is prohibiting cruelty, which is really what this is about, and then kind of moving that needle of social consciousness in the direction of compassion and kindness. So I'm very happy to be here. I'm glad that we were able to work with such a large group of people and got this across the finish line. And they still bark at us in the Senate when we start talking about
Yes.
dogs. You will hear the other
Yes.
senators barking. They start barking. Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Well, thank you very much.
I know I'm in trouble when I walk in the hall and they start barking at me. Representative Ramon, and can't see other representatives or legislators behind me, but Representative.
But I would only add, I think what is really wonderful about this moment is the bringing together of all these different groups to help get this across the finish line. When I was a freshman legislator, I doubt anyone remembers this because the bill did not even get out of committee, but I took a crack at doing a tethering bill and could not even get it out of committee. And I was a freshman, I was new, really didn't know what I was doing. And for a bill like this, it really takes a team of great leaders and great organizations coming together. After my bill went down in flames in committee 7.5 years ago, really didn't hear much about it till Sheryl Crow shows up about 3 years ago and starts pestering legislators on this issue, and Jack and Stephanie getting involved. And so it's really great to just see everybody come together. Brandywine coming in and taking a leadership role was really wonderful. So thank you to everyone who got involved. And but this legislation really is in a way meaningless if it's not for these great people back here who are tasked with enforcing it. And so thank you for the job that you're doing. You're getting better at it day after day. And going back 3 or 4 years ago when the office really got started, you know, it was kind of a learning process, but you're all doing really wonderful work, and thank you for everything that you do.
And Trey, you didn't bring Toby then. You would have probably passed it to him.
Yeah, if we had Teddy 7.5 years ago, yeah, you know, who knows?
Governor, I just want to say thank you for doing this in the heart of the 21st in the senators and in my representative district. And I also wanted to thank the county exec because Carousel Park was at one point a forgotten open zone and now has turned into one of the most beautiful equestrian and dog-friendly and parks in the entire county. So I want to express my gratitude, but more important, off of what Representative Jake said, you know, as a little kid, I grew up in a flower shop filling tubes up at 3, 4, 5, 6 years old with my grandmom who owned it, and quite frankly, she was an animal lover. But my grandmother would actually climb fences and take dogs. We have Tika, we had a list of names, and she would take dogs from people's houses, which is illegal. And actually, she actually got it.
Where are we going?
No,
I'll
be truthful. She actually got arrested for doing that. She was arrested for doing that because she felt the abuse to the dog was so egregious that she felt it was more important. We belong to a group called ALU, Animal Lovers Unlimited. We run around and sell the little candy for the money. But my point is, loving a pet is a passion. It's not something that people understand until they have one, and when you grow up with it as a little child and then it's innate in your family, you normally continue it. To see what some people think was acceptable behavior in caring for a pet was egregious, and to have legislators come together and govern and work hard to get something done well for animals is something that we should be very, very proud of. So I'm thankful that I was able to be a small part of it, and I'm really thankful that you brought it to Carousel Park and highlighted the wonderful job the executive's done with this and how great of a park this is today for our dogs and our people.
This is the Bark Park at Carousel Park. And County Executive, if you want to say a
So
word.
the only thing I'll say is I know we're here to make sure dogs are protected on their worst days. Glad you chose Carousel Park where dogs are welcome to have their best days.
Yeah.
Well said.
There are 248 parks in Newcastle County. It's sunny every day in every one of those parks.
We have lots of advocates here. I think Adam Lamb is here. I saw him on Saturday at the grand opening down in Kent County. Adam, are you back there?
Yep, I'm here.
There
So
you go.
I want to thank Senator Walsh and Stephanie Hansen for allowing us to utilize our lobbyist firm to help with the stakeholder meetings. There was a lot of those stakeholder meetings, and also the leadership of them not just giving up. I mean, this has been going on for 2 years trying to get us across the finish line. And as Trey said, he tried 7 years ago, and we're in a different time, and I think animal welfare continues to evolve. And I want to thank OAW because without a fiscal note, I don't know where we would have been. So they're taking on this work with their current and existing staff. So I want to thank them for that. And also just letting everyone know we are the only state to have an Office of Animal Welfare. So it is something that I think each and every one of us should be proud of. And I think they do great work every single day. So.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for Brandywine. Is Christina back there or somebody from OW? There she is.
Hi, thank you very much. It's exciting to be here today to watch this finally be signed into law. It was a lot of work with a lot of people, and we really appreciate the legislators for bringing this forward. No dog should live their life on a chain. No dog should be outside without protection. And no dog should be outside at all when it is freezing cold or really, really hot. It's inhumane, and now we can do something about it, so we're excited about that. I'm here with the men and women that enforce these laws and that are going to enforce these new laws, and they do an amazing job every day in our communities to protect animals and to keep the public safe. So I'm really glad that they could be here today. They do it under the leadership of Mark Tobin, who's here, our Chief of Delaware Animal Services. And I also want to recognize our Deputy Director, Joanna Miller, who's in the back here, for the Office of Animal Welfare. From an enforcement standpoint, we are going to spend a lot of time trying to raise awareness and educate pet owners. We know that a lot of people will not be aware of these new laws. They've already been out in the community the past couple weeks handing out educational flyers. They have been having conversations with pet owners, and they'll continue to do that. Our goal is that people can be compliant with the law and that they can do right by their pets, and we'll continue to work to make sure that happens. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Christina. Jane.
Jane Parentazzi, Executive Director of Faithful Friends Animal Society, and about 6 years ago, I think it was, we worked with Patty Blevins on a first step tethering bill. And it wasn't what all the shelters wanted, it was really just the first steps. We were really excited to see the stronger bill pass. I think it's really a testament to our progressive legislature who responded to the outcry from the public. As you said, there were a lot of cases recently in the last couple of years where we've seen dogs in really poor conditions in the snow and the heat, and it's really frustrating for the officers and for neighbors and people who see it. It's very emotional for the people who see it and feel like nothing can be done. So we're just thrilled and really grateful to all the hard work everyone did. Thank you.
I don't know who else is back. Is Patrick back there?
Patrick's around somewhere.
Patrick, come forward.
There he is. Come on, Patrick.
Come on,
Good morning,
Patrick.
everybody. On behalf of Delaware Humane Association, I just want to say that we fully support this bill. We're really glad it's happening. We get calls every day, probably, and that say someone saying that there's a dog running loose, or what can I do? My neighbor's dog is chained up, and they're not taking care of them. So we know the 255-4646 really well. And then personally, I get calls all the time, Facebook Messenger, all this stuff, people saying, Patrick, there's a dog that's running loose, or, you know, the same thing. And so it's just, it's great to know the community really cares. We definitely have a full community out there who are animal lovers. And then the other thing I want to acknowledge is just the many, I'm thinking a lot about the rescue groups right now, because I guess when you said people steal dogs out of yards, that reminded me of a lot of them. In a good way, that there really are advocates out there who are doing a lot of rescue work that are also doing part of this work and being a safety net for animals that we interact with all the time. So thanks to them as well. Thank you.
Well, thank you all to the members of the Senate, Senator Walsh, Representative Jakes, Senator Hansen, all the rest, Senator Pardee, Representative Ramon. I'm constantly amazed. There's a lot of hard work that went into this bill. Forget my speech. Let's get on. All right, guys, ready?
All right,
We
here we
ready to
go.
sign this bill? Here we go.
Maybe.
Maybe. Let's get it done.
Bless you. We need a paw print.
They're anxious.
What did Senator Walsh said? We did it. The Dog Day in Delaware. Right.
All week.
I want to take this one home. This is a cutie.